An inventor is someone who thinks of an idea or makes something before anyone else. There have been many famous inventors and people who have changed the world we live in. Do you know when the first calculator was invented and what a submarine is? Who was Henry Ford and what did Albert Einstein discover? Stick around and find out the answers to all these burning questions and many more on Why, What, Where. What is a hovercraft? Sometimes just experimenting with things to see how they work can lead to some pretty exciting discoveries, such as the hovercraft. A hovercraft is a type of sea-going vehicle that's supported on a cushion of air. It can be driven over different types of land, as well as water. Sir Christopher Cockerell invented the hovercraft in 1952 by experimenting with a vacuum cleaner motor and 2 round cans. From playing around with these objects, he discovered that a vehicle that was suspended on a cushion of air would increase its movements and allow it to cross a wide variety of surfaces. Today, hovercrafts are used mostly for leisure and racing, and you can find them on inland rivers, lakes and marshy areas. You can even join a club for people who love hovercrafts. When was the calculator invented? About 40 years ago, Texas Instruments in America revealed a new product that would ultimately change the world, especially the way we work with numbers. Up until 1967, the only calculators that existed were enormous heavy machines that cost thousands of dollars. The first calculator looked similar to the simple calculators we use today. It could add, subtract, multiply and divide. The answers were burned into a roll of paper, similar to what is used today for many grocery store receipts. It was hard work creating a battery source powerful enough, yet really small. The plans were sketched out in just 3 days and 3 nights of work. But it took 18 months for the calculator to be finished. People gave up and quit during the project, thinking the calculator would never work. Today, there is hardly a maths class in the world where students don't use calculators, and it's hard to imagine what life would be like without them. Did you know that much of the work on the portable calculator led to other portable products like computers? Where do calculators get their power source from? A long-life battery or a solar cell which gives free power in daylight. What is a submarine? Submarines are amazing pieces of technology. Have you ever seen one? If not, imagine what it would be like to travel underwater in an enclosed boat. A submarine is a watercraft that can travel beneath the water. They come in different sizes, and the length of time they can stay underwater varies. Some submarines can remain underwater for 6 hours, others as long as 6 months. They can go really deep underwater, much deeper than divers. They are important vessels for the Navy and are used to check out the enemy's position during war. Once the submarine knows where the enemy is, it can alert all ships and aircraft and let them know what to expect. Imagine living on a submarine. There were 135 crew members on this United States naval submarine. Even though they get well looked after, they work very hard and have to concentrate as the unexpected could happen at any moment. The crew have access to a gym, cafeteria and the internet to keep in touch with their family and friends. Who flew the first aeroplane? Just over 100 years ago, on a windy sand dune just off the North Carolina coast, 2 bicycle repairmen altered the course of human history, breaking the bonds of Earth's gravity and taking to the sky. After years of designing and tinkering with gliders, Wilbur and Orville Wright placed a small engine aboard their fabricated plane and made the first powered flight. They discovered many of the principles of aeronautics, which is the science or practice of travelling in the air. Until then, the secrets of flying had only been enjoyed by birds. The Wright brothers made 4 flights on December 17, 1903. Orville was first at the controls, sliding along a starting rail and then moving his hip and hand controls to go up in the air. The flyer struggled against the wind and the plane was moving up and down, up and down. That first flight lasted only 12 seconds and Orville travelled only 120 feet, but it was still flight. The second flight, with Wilbur at the controls this time, went only a little further, covering 200 feet in 15 seconds. Next, with Orville again taking his turn, the plane managed to go further still. Before their attempt, the Wright brothers had told each other they would consider any flight of 300 feet a huge success. So on the 4th attempt of the day, Wilbur skimmed the sand. But then he made an abrupt manoeuvre with the elevator and the plane pitched into the sand, a flight of 59 seconds and 852 feet. The Wright brothers were so happy. As they went off to their wooden shed to celebrate, a gust of wind caught the wing of the flyer and sent it end over end, finishing their attempt for the day. The Wright brothers were true inventors, true scientists, and true engineers. Even after all the fuss over their first successful flight, Orville and Wilbur didn't really understand their massive achievement. They knew their invention was historic, but they didn't fully realise how amazing their invention was. The aircraft on the runways of the world's airports today operate on the same basic aeronautic principles invented by the Wright brothers. But since then, people have continued attempting to improve on the Wright brothers' invention, to fly further, faster, and higher. Coming up, we find out what is a genius and where is the Chrysler Building. What is a genius? Do you think about life often? Do you like to ask questions and think about the different answers? Do you like art or science? Do you love to experiment? Well, perhaps you're a genius. A genius is a person who is successful at applying a new technique in the production of a work of art, science, or calculation, or someone who masters a known technique and puts his or her signature stamp on it. Geniuses are very smart, creative, and original. They have big imaginations and plenty of drive. Does this sound like you? This is a genius exhibition, which Dr. Yoshiro Nakamatsu is running. He's invented a futuristic chair, which looks like it has an enormous hairdryer attached to the back of it. Dr. Nakamatsu calls it the Cerebrex. It passes an electric current through the head of the person who sits in the chair. Amongst other things, the Cerebrex is meant to improve eyesight, boost brain power, and ease tiredness. Another one of his inventions is a fuel battery-powered boot that he claims will make you move forward faster than if you were on a speeding bicycle. Who is a famous genius of science? Albert Einstein. Who invented the light bulb? Look around the room and see if you can spot all the things that work by electricity. You may have computers in the room, a telephone, a light bulb, a lamp, and the television. Well, all this was made possible by a very special man named Thomas Alva Edison. During his lifetime, he had more than 1,000 big ideas. He was born in 1847 and had a difficult time at school because he used to get told off for asking too many questions. Thomas had lots of different jobs as a young man, such as working as a telegraph operator, where he would send messages over the wire in Morse code. Morse code is an alphabetic code of long and short sounds. One famous invention that Thomas Edison is responsible for is the light bulb. He had done experiments before, but found that the part of the bulb that glows, called the filament, burned out too quickly. So he tried using different materials as filaments and found out that a piece of baked cotton thread worked best. Can you believe that this simple thread was the key to creating a practical light bulb? We still use many of Thomas's inventions today, such as light bulbs, microphones, sound recording methods, X-rays, and early motion picture cameras. Whenever we use the telephone or the internet, we owe a big thank you to Thomas Edison. Did you know that in 1877, Thomas Edison introduced the first phonograph, a device for recording and replaying sound? Who is Bill Gates? The computer industry in the 20th century was only just starting when one man had a big idea. His name was Bill Gates, and he invented Microsoft Windows. He was born in 1955 in Seattle's Swedish hospital, and at the age of 13, he wrote his first computer software program, which played tic-tac-toe. Just under 10 years later, he built Microsoft. Microsoft's products are now used widely in our homes, businesses and schools. They help businesses run productively, and at school, they help us to learn and communicate with each other through email. When Internet Explorer came with Windows 95 Plus, it meant that people could jump on the internet at home and search for cool stuff, so Microsoft products became huge. Bill Gates also launched the new Xbox 360 in 2005, and people who love computer games say that it's one of the best. Where is the Chrysler Building? Do you like building things? How many blocks can you stand on top of each other before they tumble over? Constructing huge buildings that reach for the sky really only took off in 20th century New York. A car manufacturer and businessman named Walter P. Chrysler paid for the building, which was named after him. The building officially opened its doors on May 27, 1930, and Walter P. Chrysler had his offices in the building. It held the title of being the world's tallest building for a year at 1,048 feet, or 319 metres. But the Empire State Building took over that title in 1931 at 1,250 feet, or 381 metres. The Empire State Building may be taller, but many people say that the Chrysler Building is much more picturesque because of its grand foyer and Art Deco architecture. The building went up at a rate of 4 floors a week, so the builders had to work very hard and fast to get it done quickly. In total, there are 77 stories. People now regard the Chrysler Building as one of the best architectural structures of the boom times of the 1920s. Where is the Eiffel Tower? In Paris, France. Coming up, we find out what Albert Einstein discovered and why Leonardo da Vinci is famous. What did Albert Einstein discover? Have you heard of Albert Einstein? He was probably the most important scientist in the 20th century. He's remembered not only as a great scientist, but also as an eccentric and warm-hearted man who was passionate about science and learning. He was a man who loved to find out how things worked. Science teaches us how to understand the universe we live in, and Einstein made many discoveries which have helped us learn about the world and how it operates. He is most famous for discovering something called relativity. You may have heard of the equation E equals mc squared. Well, this relates to relativity. Relativity refers to the relationship between. For example, if your friend is standing far away from you, they'll look smaller than they really are. They're still the same size, right? They haven't shrunk, but from your point of view, your friend looks smaller at a distance. So Einstein believed that time, space, and mass could not remain the same from different points of view. Einstein believed that from a long way away, things would shrink. Like, say, if you were looking down at houses from an aeroplane. They look tiny, but really, they haven't changed in size. So that is simply relativity. Einstein loved to read and learn all about the amazing world we live in. When did Albert Einstein live? From 1839 to 1955. Who was Henry Ford? The birth of the modern age of the motor car came about more than 100 years ago, when Henry Ford began production of his Model T Ford in Detroit, USA. Henry founded the Ford Motor Company in 1903, and now it's one of the world's most successful car companies. But the cars have changed rather a lot since the first automobile. The original car looked like a buggy, similar to those pulled by horses. But instead of horses pulling it along, it was run by a gasoline engine. People were amazed at the sight of the first car. Henry Ford didn't invent the automobile, but he was a key player in helping devise the factory assembly approach to making cars. It meant that lots of cars could be put together quickly, thus saving time and money. Henry grew up on a farm, but rather than staying in farming and agriculture, he was much more passionate about machinery and finding out how things worked. As a kid, he would take apart anything and everything he could get his hands on, and he became known around the neighbourhood for fixing people's watches. Later, as an adult, when he ran the Ford Motor Company, he had a vision to create a motor car for the masses. Ford's engineers took the first step towards this goal by designing the Model T, a simple and sturdy car. The car was sold for $850 and quickly became popular. So popular, in fact, that Ford and his workers couldn't keep up. So Henry Ford's solution was to invent a moving industrial production line. Because cars could now be produced so quickly and efficiently, it meant Henry could lower his prices. In 1915, he dropped the price of the Model T from $850 to $290, and in that same year, he sold 1 million cars. No wonder we see so many cars on the road today. Henry Ford passed away in 1947 at the age of 83. He's another great inventor that's helped change the world. When was the first vehicle invented? In 1769, a military tractor was invented by a French engineer. Who was Leonardo da Vinci? If you like art, you may have heard of Leonardo da Vinci. He's the man behind the most talked about painting in the world. It's called the Mona Lisa. Have you heard of it? It hangs in the famous Louvre Gallery in Paris and is also known as La Gioconda, which means the happy or joyful woman in Italian. Did you know that Leonardo da Vinci is also responsible for many inventions and other forms of art? He was born in 1452 in central Italy. At the early age of 14, his father realised that Leonardo had a great talent for painting. In fact, Rumour has it that Leonardo painted a picture of a dragon, and it was so lifelike that it even scared his father. Leonardo became an apprentice to a well-known artist named Verrocchio, and at the age of 30, Leonardo began sketching and writing every day in his notebooks. This exhibition in London shows off many of his drawings and manuscripts, giving us an insight into Leonardo's mind. The artist was also a great scientist and thinker, and he came up with many famous inventions. The battleship, printing press, helicopter and parachute are all inventions based on Leonardo's drawings. He used to draw and write his ideas down all the time and visualise his thoughts on paper. There are a number of items on display, including a model of a footbridge built in Norway that show how far ahead of his time Leonardo was. Inside, there's a giant flying machine and a large parachute he designed. There are also models, drawings and diagrams of a heart valve, which show Da Vinci's scientific skills and his ability to think in 3 dimensions.
He's always thinking about the world in a way where everything is linked up. If he looks at the body, he will think about the body of the earth. If he looks at rivers, he'll think about the vessels in the body. If he looks at hair, he will think about the curling of hair and the movement of water.
Other famous paintings by the artist include The Last Supper. So as you can see, Leonardo was a very talented and busy man. What type of paint did Leonardo da Vinci use for his portrait of Mona Lisa? Oil paint. Who was Winston Churchill? Museums are a great place to discover things about famous people's lives. This museum is dedicated to the politician Sir Winston Churchill. Visitors are able to walk through Churchill's life, which is divided into the different stages. Churchill was born in 1874. At the age of 26, he went from being a politician to becoming a Prime Minister during World War II, leading Britain to victory. A highlight of the museum is the electronic lifeline table. You can flick through key events in Winston's life and learn all about the times through looking at photographs, listening to soundtracks and watching films. Winston's family has even lent or given the museum artefacts, like items of his clothing, such as his red siren suit. Winston is regarded as one of Britain's most distinguished statesmen. A statesman is a politician who's had a long and respected career. As well as all of his political achievements, he also wrote many publications. What famous prize did Winston Churchill win in 1953? The Nobel Peace Prize for Literature. You've been introduced to the many different inventions and big ideas of some amazing people. You too can be the first to think or make something. All you need to do is to start thinking and experimenting with your ideas.